All right, so picture this.
Okay.
You're building like the next big thing in tech. A system so responsive, it would make even, the most jaded developer jealous.
Wow.
And you're thinking, event-driven architecture, ED, right? That's what all the cool kids are doing.
Yeah.
But, and this is a big but,
Okay.
without the right approach, managing all those events, it can feel like, I don't know, herding cats.
It really can. It's a double-edged sword, right? ED lets you build these super agile systems.
Right.
But it can become chaotic fast if you're not careful.
Total chaotic.
Like imagine, instead of dominoes falling in a line,
Yeah.
they're scattered across a whole city.
Oh, no.
Each one setting off these crazy chain reactions.
Nobody wants that, especially when you're trying to meet deadlines and give users a smooth experience.
Right.
So how do we wrangle these events, bring some order to this digital Wild West?
Well, that's what we're diving into today. We've got this awesome presentation by Giri Venkatesan.
Okay.
He's a developer advocate at Solace, and he gave this talk at APIDays.HK 2023.
Very cool. Very cool.
And he really breaks down how to bridge this gap between, the ideal world of EDA design
I'm listening.
and what actually happens when your system is live.
Yeah, because let's be real, it's easy to design something on a whiteboard, but making it work in the real world,
Totally.
that's the real challenge, right?
And Venkatesan, he's got these secret weapons, right, for taming this chaos.
Okay, I like the sound of secret weapon.
He uses Solace PubSub Event Portal and AsyncAPI.
All right, tell me more. What are these tools?
So picture this. Solace PubSub Event Portal, it's like the master conductor, orchestrating the flow of events in your system,
Yeah.
and helping you visualize and manage even the most complex situations.
So like air traffic control, but for data?
Exactly. And then you got AsyncAPI.
Oh, right.
That's like creating a detailed flight plan for each one of those data points.
Okay.
It's this open source system for documenting every single thing in your event-driven system.
So instead of vague flight plans, you have detailed itineraries for each event.
You got it.
So,
And that's huge for keeping your design and your actual runtime environment in sync.
gotcha. That makes sense. You don't want those getting out of whack.
No way. That's how you get those nasty errors in systems that can't adapt.
Yeah, who wants to be fixing bugs when you could be building the next killer feature?
Exactly. And to really bring this home, Venkatesan walks through this really cool example.
Yep.
He uses an online ordering system.
Like the ones we use every day.
Exactly. He breaks down how you could build one using EDA.
Nice.
Focuses on key parts, like the basket service,
Okay.
order validation, and order placement. And each of these, they talk to each other using events.
Feels like a chain reaction of information.
Exactly. Like a digital whisper chain.
I like it. So instead of each part needing to know every tiny detail about the others, they just communicate through these little messages.
Exactly. And to make sure those messages aren't getting lost in translation, Venkatesan uses AsyncAPI to define what are called schemas for each event.
Schemas. Is that like a blueprint for the data?
It's like a universal translator, making sure every part of the system speaks the same language.
Oh, that's smart. No more digital babble situations.
Right. And it gets even more interesting.
Oh, it gets better than this.
Oh, yeah. Venkatesan brings in GitHub.
Wait, GitHub for EDA. What's next? Using a telescope to find a parking spot.
You might be surprised.
Okay, now I have to know more.
He actually uses GitHub workflows to automate key tasks in his system.
Now that is interesting. Okay, I'm hooked. Lay this GitHub magic on me. How does he use it for EDA?
So imagine this. Every time a developer pushes code, GitHub automatically checks it
Checks it how?
to make sure their AsyncAPI event definitions are valid.
Oh, okay, so it's like a safety net, making sure those event blueprints are always accurate.
Exactly. It prevents typos and stuff that can mess up the whole system.
Nice. No more accidental system meltdowns from a misplaced comma.
Right. And it gets even better.
Better.
Venkatesan has it set up so that whenever those AsyncAPI definitions change, the Solace event portal is automatically updated too.
Whoa, hold on. So it's like those changes are instantly reflected everywhere.
Precisely.
So the design and the actual running system are always in perfect sync.
You got it.
That's amazing. No more developers running around trying to get everyone on the same page.
It streamlines everything. Less room for errors,
I can imagine. So much time saved.
And remember that online ordering example?
Yeah, the one with the pizzas.
Well, he uses that to show how this all leads to really powerful real-time insights.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. Real-time insights, that's where it's at.
Right. So he builds in this logic to detect what he calls risky orders.
Risky orders, what's that?
Like, imagine someone trying to order 1,000 pizzas at 3 a.m.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit suspicious.
Probably a mistake, right?
Unless they're having a very impressive all-nighter.
So when the system spots one of these risky orders, it generates a new event and publishes it.
So it's like a warning signal.
Exactly. It alerts the right people so they can check it out.
So instead of waiting for things to go wrong, they're
Yeah.
proactively looking for potential problems.
Exactly. And that's only possible because of this tight integration between the design and the runtime that we've been talking about.
So it's all about having those clear event definitions and a system that can respond to them instantly.
Yes, that's how you get this incredible visibility into what's happening.
It's like having a sixth sense for your system.
It's a bit like that, yeah.
This is all really impressive, but how does this translate to the average developer?
That's a great question.
Like, it sounds great in theory, but is it actually practical for everyday coding?
Absolutely. While this example focuses on a specific use case, the principles are universal.
Okay, good to know.
No matter what you're building, whether it's a complex e-commerce platform or a simple to-do list app, clear documentation, automation, keeping your design aligned with reality, these are all essential.
So it's about applying these principles in your own context.
Exactly.
That makes sense, but I imagine it can still feel intimidating to someone just starting out.
It's true. It can feel like a lot to wrap your head around.
Especially with all these new terms and tools.
Right. But the good news is you don't have to do it all at once.
Okay, good.
Start small.
Okay.
Identify those key events in your own work.
Right, like what triggers what.
Exactly. And then think about how you can document those events more clearly. Maybe use a tool like AsyncAPI.
So start small, focus on clarity, and build up from there.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. There are so many great resources available.
Like where?
Venkatesan's presentation, for example.
Oh, right. We'll link to that in the show notes.
Perfect.
Now, going back to Venkatesan's online ordering system for a sec.
Sure.
He breaks it down into those core components, right? Each one talking to the others through events.
Yes, the basket service, order validation, and order placement.
Right, those are the ones. Can you walk us through how those might work in a real scenario?
Of course. Let's say you're browsing an online bookstore.
Okay, I like bookstores.
You add a book to your cart.
Happens all the time.
That action triggers an item added event.
So it's like a behind-the-scenes signal.
Exactly. This event is then picked up by the order validation service,
Okay.
which checks if the book is in stock, if there are any restrictions, things like that.
It's like a digital detective making sure everything's in order.
And if everything checks out, it triggers another event, signaling the order placement service.
So it's a chain reaction of events, each one carefully coordinated.
Exactly. And this is where those schemas we talked about come in.
The schemas, right, the blueprints for the events.
They define exactly what data each event should carry.
Why is that so important again?
It ensures that different parts of the system can understand each other.
Okay.
Imagine if the item added event didn't include the book's ISBN or the quantity.
Oh, right. The other parts wouldn't know what to do.
Exactly. The process would break down.
It'd be like trying to assemble furniture with missing instructions.
It's exactly chaos.
So these shared schemas are crucial for making sure everything runs smoothly.
Especially as your system grows more complex. You want to avoid ending up with a system where different parts can't understand each other.
Right, like a digital Tower of Babel situation.
Exactly.
So just to be clear, AsyncAPI helps define those schemas to prevent miscommunication, and Solace PubSub event portal is like the conductor making sure everything happens in the right order.
Precisely. They work together to bring order to the world of event-driven architecture.
It's like a symphony of software.
In a way, yes. But it's important to remember that no system is perfect.
Oh. There are still challenges, even with these amazing tools. Don't leave me hanging. Tell me more. Challenges, you say? Don't leave me hanging. What kind of challenges are we talking about here?
Well, one of the biggest hurdles is getting everyone on board with this new way of thinking.
Okay.
Shifting from that traditional request-driven approach to this event-driven mindset, it takes time.
It's like trying to teach an old dog new tricks, right? People can be resistant to change.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not just the developers. It's about getting everyone involved in the process on the same page.
So it's a team effort.
Absolutely. Communication, collaboration are key.
Makes sense.
And then there are the technical challenges.
Oh, right. Like what?
Choosing the right tools for your needs, integrating them into your workflow,
Right.
and then making sure everyone on the team knows how to use them.
Yeah. That's always a process.
It is. It's a journey.
So you're saying it's not just a matter of flipping a switch and suddenly everything's event-driven.
It would be nice, but no.
But the benefits are worth it, right?
Absolutely. Increased agility, scalability, resilience.
Those are some pretty compelling benefits.
They are. And remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Start small, maybe with a pilot project.
Okay, good advice.
Try out some of these concepts, experiment with different tools, see what works for you.
So start small, learn as you go. That makes sense. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have?
From the basic concepts of event-driven architecture to the challenges and some really creative solutions.
We've seen how tools like AsyncAPI and Solace PubSub Event Portal can really make a difference.
And how automation, using platforms like GitHub, can really streamline the whole process.
It's all about bringing order to the chaos.
Exactly. And I think the biggest takeaway here is that event-driven architecture isn't just some abstract technical concept. It's a really powerful approach for building better systems. Systems that are more responsive, more scalable, more resilient.
Systems that can adapt and evolve.
Exactly. And the principles we've talked about today, clear documentation, automation, keeping your design in sync with reality, these are important for any project.
Absolutely, no matter what you're building.
So to our listeners, if you're facing a complex challenge, ask yourself, could an event-driven approach help?
You might be surprised at the answer.
And if you want to learn more about any of this, check out the show notes. We'll have links to everything we talked about today.
Including Giri Venkatesan's presentation.
Exactly. And if you're already using EDA or if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media. Keep the conversation going.
Let's keep learning from each other.
Absolutely. Until next time, happy building, everyone.